Hello everybody, this is Con. I am reviewing today the Hyundai Tucson. This variant is the 1.6 liter turbo, one of 4 variants of the Tucson available in Malaysia. Okay, the Tucson was launched in 2015, initially only available with a 2 liter front wheel drive version. Okay, since then Hyundai has added new variants into the range, and now there is a 2 liter diesel and this 1.6 liter turbo petrol and an all-wheel drive version. But the funny thing here is this: out of the 3 available engines, okay, Hyundai choose to offer all-wheel drive only for the 2 liter MPI engine. So out of the 3 engines, all-wheel drive, interestingly, is offered to the engine that needs it the least. Maybe the idea is to cut costs down lah, because the 2 liter NA, that is the base engine. Okay, but I would think that the more powerful diesel or turbo petrol engine would certainly make better use of the all-wheel drive system, because as it is, you have your weakest engine having to pull the heaviest drivetrain. Is a mechanical combination, to me, doesn't make much sense. In terms of specification, okay, how Hyundai positions them is this: the 2.0 two-wheel drive model, that's the base version. Then to upgrade, when you upgrade the 2.0 four-wheel drive, the 1.6 turbo front-wheel drive, and the diesel front-wheel drive, all 3 of these variants share thereabouts the same levels of equipment. So when you look at the spec sheet, okay, immediately you will notice that there's 1 column for the 2 liter two-wheel drive model, and then the remaining 3 columns for the 2.0 all-wheel drive, the diesel, and as well as the turbo petrol. All of them, right, the cells are merged one because they share the same equipment. So your choices with the Tucson is either a base front-wheel drive petrol NA model, or if you want a higher grade of equipment, then you have 3 engine choices to choose from. The only funny thing is, all-wheel drive comes in conjunction with the weakest engine. Okay, so without further ado, we adjourn outside for the walk around. Okay, this is the external view of the Tucson. Okay, this is the higher spec variant, so you see it gets LED headlights. Out of the 4 available variants, 3 get LED headlights. Only the base 2.0 MPI front wheel drive model makes do with halogen projectors, but otherwise everybody else gets LED headlamps. Down here you see the fog lamps as well as the daytime running lights. Okay, the front grille here, this is a rather big and bold front grille. Joins nicely, visually it joins nicely with the headlamps, chrome surround, and also there's a front parking camera here lah. So standard view size 17 inches. The base model has this same design painted in silver, but the higher spec models like the turbo petrol here and the diesel get this gunmetal grey finish. You can also optionally upsize them to 19 inches, but not sure how it would affect. The diesel test car that we've got has the 19-inch wheels, so upon reviewing that closely, we will give you a bit more feedback on that wheel sizing lah. Right, so as you see, running along the side here, there continues to be more body claddings that is mixed with the this silver garnish here that at the same time adds a bit of class to the car's appearance. Keyless entry here, available in 3 out of the 4 variants. And let's just come out for you to get a good side view of the car, and we swing around to the back. Okay, here are the tail lights, conventional bulb type tail lights, fog lamp, and also this bumper also receives that nice silver garnish. Yeah. So overall, not handsome, okay, if rather unremarkable looking design. Compared to the 2nd generation Tucson, this is a distinctively more low-key design lah. Okay, I mean, it is a design that will likely to age well, but at the same time, it doesn't grab your eyes. You know, it doesn't grab attention the way the first one, the second one, because the second generation, because the first generation Tucson was very bland. The second generation came out totally wowed us with its bold styling. This one actually feels like an in-between of the first and second gen in terms of styling boldness. Of course, it is a more mature design than the second generation model. I mean, over time, this would probably look better resolved. But in terms of dramatic effect, the previous one certainly gives you more of that lah. Okay, right. So the Tucson in front is locked. I'm holding the key fob here. Okay, I'm not pressing any buttons. I'm just holding the key fob, walking close to it. So the car detects the presence of this key fob and self opens the boot. Okay, so the logic behind this feature is that if you just come back from your shopping, you're carrying a ton of things, okay, you don't have a free hand, all you have to do is just walk nearby, stand near the tailgate, and the car interprets that you want to load things into the boot and self open the tailgate for you. Okay, just a reminder, be careful if you reverse park. Yeah, if you reverse park quite close to the wall, just be careful not to stand too close to the back with the key fob. Otherwise, the car will open the tailgate automatically, and you know, you'll get a little dent on your tailgate. Well, if the design sounds good, I imagine the CR-V give you a bigger boot, but this is useful enough for most families, I would think. It's big enough for most strollers. It's big enough for 2 mid-sized suitcases, and yeah, so it's good enough for your outstation trips or your airport runs or your family. Definitely good enough for family duties lah. Okay. Underneath this floor, I think this is probably a local accessory provided by Hyundai, and underneath here is a full-sized spare tire. Okay. Now the seats split fold 60/40, but there are no release latches here at the boot, so you actually have to go, if you want to fold the seats down, you actually have to go to the passenger compartment. I'll show that later in the video. Right now, here there is also a 12-volt power socket here for you to charge whatever devices you have. Boot light is here, and this is the retractable tonneau cover, so you can pull this and you slot it in here to cover whatever things that you want to hide underneath lah. Then you just pull this down and release. Now, often a time, right, I always kutok SUVs. You see, most of these tonneau covers are removable. Okay, most of these tonneau covers are removable, but a lot of car makers forget to give you a proper space to stow away the tonneau cover when you remove it. But Hyundai has probably overdone it this time, because you see, so there's this current standard position which the tonneau cover is installed. Okay, there's this second position here which I presume is for you to use when you want to recline the rear seats. Okay, and there's this third position here for you to use if you want to just, you know, put the cover out of position. But that is not all, because under the boot floor, okay, if you open this flap, you notice there is another slot there which you can also slot in the tonneau cover. So let me remove the one from the other side as well. Yeah. So altogether there are 4 different locations in which you can stow away the tonneau cover. So let me try this. Okay, that's one. Well, this lowest slot could not be used because the spare tire is in the way, but I presume you can use it if if this car had come with a space saver spare tire, or if you ditch the spare tire altogether. But yeah, so 4 slots are provided, though in the case of our car with a full size spare, only 3 are usable. But this is 2 slots more than what most cars are able to provide. So well done, Hyundai, well done. Right, close the boot. Right, let's see inside. Now the door card. This is very short door pocket, just just the front half of the door, and this little sub partition section here to hold your can. Seat folding. Yes, this is the lever which you pull, fold the seats forward. Okay, 60-40 split fold. Oh, here look, there is a little hook here which you can use while the seat backs are up to hang your groceries at the back. Okay, it folds down in a way that gives you a rather seamless floor with the boot, so that is useful to haul big items, right? But the seat back here itself cannot be folded down, cannot be folded up. So this here, as slow as it goes. You gently pull this to release, push it back. Okay, step inside, pull this up. With the tonneau cover moved 1 slot to the back, right, you can even adjust this to recline. Okay, so this is a good recline angle if you want to relax on a long distance trip. Get this back up. Okay, so we have a foldable armrest here, down, pair of cup holders here, not very big, so you probably can store some of the smaller cans, but that's it. Okay, rear aircon blowers, of course no dedicated controls, but that's fine. I think at this price point, having aircon blowers at the back is good enough. So here are the seat pockets. This is hard plastic, and this is the net type, but it's good enough to slip your documents inside. And actually having this net here, right, means that things don't go in here and disappear, because you will always see them. Because like some cars with the with the covered back pocket, right, let's say you drop a small item in there, right, that small item can, like a coin or like a small sheet of paper, right, that small item can remain hidden in there for years before anybody digs it out. So adjustable headrests for all. Let's raise this. Okay, hit support, pretty alright. Let's look at 3-point belt for the rear passenger. Okay, 3-point belt is roof mounted. You have to pull this down. You have to mount this down on the on this mount here, and then you come over here. That's it. Okay, then to stow it away, take this, press here, stow it back up. Mechanism is smooth, functional, good. Lastly, ISOFIX mounts here. Okay, it's quite visible, so easy to locate, easy to put your child seat in. Okay, so before stepping to the front, I've locked the Tucson once again. Here's the key fob. I shall walk closer to the car, and notice the side mirror just unfolds out to indicate that it detected your presence. The doors are still locked, you can't open it yet. You still have to press the unlock button, then only you can open and get inside. Okay, so we take a quick look at the door pocket. Decently long, like the back, it is sort of semi-partitioned to have sort of like a cup holder here, put your drinks, and then here is for you to dump your miscellaneous items lah. Okay, this button is for you to program the opening height of your powered tailgate. This one, okay, this activates the front parking camera, which I will demonstrate later. First, let me start the engine. It's very hot. Okay, so the Tucson, okay, has both front and reverse camera, but here's the interesting bit on how they operate. So let's start with the reverse camera. Go and engage reverse, but the infotainment screen is not showing the reverse camera image. Where is it? because usually you, when you see you have a touch screen, you automatically will look here at the touch screen for reverse camera, but instead the reverse camera image is at the rear view mirror. Here's the funny thing, when I activate the front parking camera, the image appears on the touch screen. Overall, this cabin is it feels solidly built. The selection of materials not as good as the Mazda CX-5, but fit and finish is good, consistent gaps. So it looks more the design to me, it looks nicer than what Honda offers on the CR-V. Yet at the same time, it is not significantly less practical. Okay, I mean, in terms of space right here, look at the glove box. Glove box is decently large. There are so many things inside here. But what I like is this center console area is very well partitioned. Not visually attractive, yes, but look at the amount of compartments. You have this large tray here which you can dump a rather large size phone. This one also is big. These cup holders also pretty alright. You can dump a lot of items here, and this center console box is also decently sized with this extra tray. Look at this tray. This tray also is pretty big. So overall, this whole center console area, not visually attractive, yes, but practical enough. Okay, I like this kind of design where, you know, you just that every square inch of space is just maximized for storage. Here you notice there are two 12-volt sockets, one USB port, one aux port. Okay, so this is this touchscreen. So this is an Android unit. As you can see, there are various apps, all these, you know, Waze, Google Maps and whatnot, and I presume you can install an app, whatever app of your choosing, into this as you go along. But just remember that this requires data, so you need to have a Wi-Fi dongle on standby, or you need to use your mobile phone tethering to enable this, you know, all these various apps to work lah. Okay, so here's one thing I need to show you. Let's say like now the radio is off, right? Now I activate the radio control. Notice this part of the display. This honestly to me looks very chacha. Okay, and it reinforces the impression as if it is aftermarket unit rather than something that came from the factory. But what is even less pleasant, even funny, is look at this. Okay, so now I've activated the radio screen. Funny enough, it just comes back out there. So I activate the radio screen and I switch on the radio lah. So when you're on a touch screen, right? Okay, let's say like right now I want to go tune into BFM 89.9. My natural reaction would be to press this number 4 here, correct? Press. Nothing one. What you really need to do is, okay, so here's it. You have to press this number 4. Then you are tuned to BFM 89.9. Then it disappears lah.
And I can, if it suits me,
okay,
or it looks good on YouTube, or no.
So you see, like right now, or let's say I want to tune to Melody FM 103.
Or any online store that I can just buy from that.
Okay. My natural reaction would be to press that 103 number, rather that, you know, this frequency number here, rather than press this. Maybe it's something that you will get used to upon familiarization, but it is very counterintuitive, and it defeats the whole point of having a touchscreen in the first place. Okay, I mean, the whole point of having a touchscreen is to have less clutter, you know, on the dashboard. So what you have is you have a touchscreen, but you have all the clutters of physical buttons. So that part of it is not well thought through and can be improved. Here, look at the instrument cluster. Very good clarity. Looks a bit old-fashioned. Okay, it's, you know, conventional gauge, and you know the middle display doesn't even have color, but you read everything. Everything is presented in a clear enough manner yeah, easy to understand. So no complaints really from a functional perspective lah. Okay, and interestingly enough, Hyundai probably also has continental ambitions these days. Most of their cars come with the signal stocks on the left. Okay, then the climate control system, it's interestingly enough, it's a manual climate control system. Doesn't quite bother me, but it is just a surprising find at this price range, where most rivals have up to dual zone climate control. So this particular spec is a bit down relative to its rivals, but to me it's not a deal breaker. Now, to recap, a couple of years back during my car lease days, I've driven the 2.0 MPI front wheel drive version, and my findings at that time was that it was a very competent, very well engineered SUV, but one without a defining quality. Means that Hyundai did everything so well with the Tucson, but did not bless it with a standout characteristic that make you go, this is the car that I want, this is the SUV that I want. Instead, what you have is that a car that, if somebody tells you that, look, I'm buying a Tucson, you'll be saying, okay, good choice. But if somebody were to ask you, what would you buy? Chances are the Tucson is not the first car that crosses your mind. So what does this turbo petrol version bring to the equation? I would say more spirited performance for one. It is way more eager to rev and accelerate compared to the lazy 2.0 NA version. That one is a very is a very lethargic, very relaxed kind of engine. This one, it accelerates with a lot more gusto when you plant your foot down on the throttle. Also, I remember testing this engine and transmission combo on the Veloster. I don't remember it being this well sorted. In fact, I remember in the Veloster Turbo, the 7-speed DCT actually felt rather clunky. This one, actually, it feels significantly more refined. And thus far in the driving conditions that I experienced this car in, I have failed to find any major weakness to the whole experience, other than the fact that it has a little turbo lag, which is nothing out of the ordinary for most turbocharged engines. So nothing. The lag is no more than what you would experience in most other turbo engines in the market of similar size and output. Now, the ride and handling was not something that the Tucson did very badly on. The 2.0 MPI, to my memory, rides and handles pretty competently. Okay, not as sharp as the CX-5, but in some ways the body control is better measured than you would get in a CRV. So this turbo version, even with additional power going through the front wheels, doesn't seem overwhelmed by the extra performance. The overall body control of this car feels very well sorted, like actually most Hyundai cars, right? The more recent ones, starting from the latest Sonata and the Tucson, they have actually pretty well set up chassis. It is the previous gen, the Sonata YF, that was the one that was the generation of Hyundais that looked good but didn't drive so well. The more recent ones, the ones that came after 2015, actually had decently well sorted chassis settings. So the handling is tidy, but the more important thing is that ride comfort overall isn't bad. I mean, this is not an SUV that anybody would say is uncomfortable by any stretch of the imagination. You can carry your passengers over a long distance drive. I don't imagine anybody will be complaining about bumpiness. Overall noise level pretty well suppressed. So this is like the 2.0 MPI, a decently capable SUV. This one adds a bit more zest to the overall performance. So, has this new engine made a better car out of the Tucson? Definitely. How much better? Pretty much. Okay, I mean, if you were to choose between this and the 2.0 MPI, right, my recommendation to you is find that extra money to make sure you can afford this, because this is definitely a way more enjoyable driving experience than the 2.0 MPI. Because the biggest weakness of the 2.0 MPI was that the engine was just so lethargic and so lazy. This one solves that altogether whilst preserving the good things about the base model. Okay, it is a tidy handling SUV, handsome looking, well built on the inside, decently spacious, but ultimately still short of a defining quality. So as before, right, my verdict on the Tucson as a whole continues to be this: it is not a car that I would actively discourage you from buying, but it is definitely not the first car that comes to mind if you were to ask me for a recommendation on what SUV to buy at this price point. Okay, yeah, it is not a bad purchase, but just not a top of the mind consideration in this segment. But this 1.6 turbo version, definitely better than the 2-liter model. Definitely, and by far. Okay, so that concludes my thoughts on the Tucson here. And until my next video, thanks for watching. Bye for now.